Hello.
My glass. There we go. Okay.
All right, good.
Here we go.
Can you hear now?
Yep, she gave me a thumbs up. All right, cool. So we marked you present on the roll, just to let you know. So I was asking if we had anybody that was a guest that wanted to speak to the board or come off of mute and introduce yourself, and you don't have to, but if you would like to do it, this is the time to do so. Okay? So let's move on to the next agenda item, which is the, approval of the minutes from May 8th. Hopefully everyone got an opportunity to review them before now, but if you need to take a couple of minutes just to review, let's, yes, ma'am.
Thanks to staff for making the change. Only thing I wanted to add is there's a little confusion on the different, what did y'all call them? On the different recommendations, I didn't see the attachment come to look at. Do we have a copy of that should be attached to this?
No, we don't have a copy, but I'll get you a copy though.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I've looked at some other, and the chair and I met today, and so I had some questions about, the letter versus the, email, so I just wanna make sure what is included is correct.
Okay, I think you got the email though,
I
right?
got this one, but it said, I got this one, I'm talking about the attachment
Right,
of all of the
the recommendation.
recommendations.
Aside from this right here, this email, but there was an email that went out to you.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there's different, I have like 3 different recommendations that say some different things, so I wanna make sure the way
Okay,
that they're written as they're attached
I
is
got you.
correct.
Okay, I'll make sure you use that.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
So does anyone need extra time to review the minutes from May 8th? All right, cool. Someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
We make the motion.
Who is that?
Oh,
That
sorry.
was Ms. Ridley.
Ms. Ridley made, Ms. Ridley, motion, to approve the minutes from May 8th, 2024. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Seconded by Mr. Melton. All in favor to approve the minutes from May 8th, 2024, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None? All right, any abstain?
I abstain, I wasn't present.
All right. Thank you. Minutes are approved. All right, just write that down. All right. Next up are reports and updates. So, for the second quarter, we are going to conduct a chief meeting, and I think that meeting is going to be with the Sheriff's Department and Prince George's County Police Department. Am I correct, Ms. Rose? Okay, okay. So,
And,
what was the date? I forgot the date.
it is the next meeting, the
Oh.
24th.
24th.
And also,
That's right.
Chief Collington,
Mm-hmm.
who's the president of the police chief.
Okay, okay, cool. 24th.
So it's Chief Aziz,
Yeah, Chief Aziz and,
Sheriff Carr.
Sheriff Carr.
Yep. So, we need to, create an agenda.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So the, where you at now with the update from the last one, because I don't think you had since then, so just to kind of like overview what happened in that one,
Okay.
and then
Oh, you mean from the previous,
Yeah.
okay.
the one that you all
It's
had.
been that long?
Yeah,
Wow,
it's been
okay.
that long.
Thank you. So we met with, was it 8 law enforcement agency chiefs from law enforcement agencies? I can't remember. But, it was the first one that we had with the chiefs, what we're going to do. So we broke them down because we have so many in Prince George's County, so we're doing them in segments, I believe, of 8, I thought. It was 4 by district or something like that. But the first, group that we met with, it was really, really good. We had a robust discussion. We heard concerns from the chief, that some of their officers had. And anybody, if they have any input, to jump in as well. One of the things that I, found out was that Upper Marlboro's chief was quite upset, I should say, with a letter that they received, stating that they had cases that they were not sending over to the ACC. That letter that went out to those law enforcement agencies was not approved by me, didn't come from me, and I've spoken to, the county executive's office about this, and I've spoken to the administrative charging committee, program manager. So moving forward, anything that goes out has to have my approval as the chair, it has my signature on it, full stop, period. I did reach out to the chief at, Upper Marlboro. We had a conversation for about 30 minutes. We talked about it, heard his issues and concerns. I did inform him that my email address for the Police Accountability Board, I'm not, for some reason, I can't log into my email. So, I thought that the email that I had for the ACC was just one email, but it's not. So I found that out. So, we did have a great conversation about it, and I reassured him that something like this should not happen, and it won't happen. So any law enforcement agency that was offended by that letter, I heard you loud and clear, and there will be a letter of apology coming soon. Mr. Jones is in the waiting room. That's the one that met him. So that was it. It was a good one. There were some takeaways that we did. Mr. Melton and Mr. Jones facilitated the meeting. I think they did a fantastic job, so thank you for that. And we can develop,
Thank you for the reading.
an agenda for the next one, with some talking points that we want to discuss with the particular law enforcement agencies that we are going to be meeting with. One of the things that I think we can do is to look through the cases and pretty much see if there are any cases that, we want to address, any concerns with particular cases that we've seen from any of those law enforcement agencies, or even speak to them about the recommendations. But, moving forward to the next meeting. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, so the chiefs actually don't come to the meeting, most of them,
Which one?
for the police department. They usually send a representative. You remember last time, some of those folks weren't chiefs.
They sent representatives. But that was the first one that we talked about.
They had just assistants there. We had at least 5 chiefs.
Yeah, maybe more.
Yeah, more than that, yeah.
Yeah.
District Heights,
Yeah.
Upper Marlboro.
I think everybody except,
Most of them was chief,
yeah.
yeah. Greenbelt, wasn't it, Greenbelt?
Yep.
What was the guy, the white guy? That was, Hyattsville, Riverdale, Riverdale.
Are there, you were talking about the letter, are there like meeting minutes or something that captures this, since that was?
You mean meeting minutes from the meetings with the chiefs?
Yes.
No, I don't think we had minutes. Nobody, Tandy was the only one there, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, but I was told that it's supposed to be, a meeting that wasn't.
Without, yeah. Yes.
So,
Okay. So, yeah, we did not have that.
So we
That's correct.
we don't record those meetings or whatever?
No, because that was community outreach, the same way we didn't report back. We can have a discussion, same way when we met with the community in the other room, we didn't take notes from that. We have to stay as far away from it looking like our meeting as an official meeting. The more we do, the more it looks like an official meeting. Individually, you can take it. Not today.
Okay.
Just to kind of clarify then, as far as those quarterly meetings, and that being a requirement, how are we documenting that we had that quarterly meeting?
So, I guess the invitation would be the document that we had that meeting. And I guess it will be recorded in the minutes from today's, meeting as well. So that's, part of the,
I'd like to make a recommendation, that when we do have quarterly meetings with the chiefs, that we, produce a synopsis, maybe issues that were brought up that we may need to follow up
to
on.
bring back to the board to talk about, to discuss. Okay.
Or just generally, we met with them, and here's what happened, just a synopsis.
Okay.
Maybe not minutes.
Okay.
So do we need to vote on it?
Expert. No, Mr. Melton is voluntold to do that. I think I heard. Okay.
So, but don't we still have to take some notes, because in that meeting, I just remember, before we even started, we got blamed in a roundabout way for them not being able to recruit more policemen. And when we do our annual report, we have to say what we got out of the lottery. We've got to be some documentation what we're getting from them. You know what I mean? Because it was a good discussion in that we had some young officers, young chiefs, or chiefs that's not from Prince George's County, didn't understand where we had the guy from District Heights, who was older and was a state police before, who brought us some issues that was, that why things are the way they are, you know what I mean? But it was discussions there where we supposed in the report, we have to say what we got out of these quarterly meetings, what's new that we got out of it.
Okay. So, Ms. Bryant just made that suggestion. We said that we would do that. So I think that if we're going to do it with the chiefs, we need to also do it with the community as well. It shouldn't be just one group.
And the report that, Mr. Melvin developed, I believe it was you, since we do that for other kinds of conferences or whatever things we do, I think that's appropriate that we say
Okay.
who was there, this is what we discussed,
Yeah.
and here.
So we're all in agreement that that's what we're gonna do moving forward.
Yeah,
Almost,
I
if, there too, I mean, if you wanna be more formalized, the question was about minutes. If you wanted, there's certain steps that we would have to take to do it that way, which would be fine if the board decides. The last discussions that we've had everywhere is just, to your point, it was just informal, what you got from it, from a synopsis of what each individual who was there got from that
And so,
meeting.
and so that's kind of why I want to make a formal motion that we take note and generate a report similar to the report that is required for all of our activities.
Okay.
I'd like to make that motion.
Okay.
I'll just add a question
Yes, sir.
quickly though, just for clarity. So were you stating that there's an issue if staff were to help us with that synopsis?
The more you do, it makes it look like a meeting subject to the open meetings act. There's
Okay.
more formality
Okay.
that you have to do. There was also the discussion, and I cannot remember when, about, how do I put it? People wanting to feel like they can have candor in those meetings.
Right, yeah.
And the more formalized, and that came up in one of you all's discussions. So whatever is the desire of the body, but part of these were to make sure you got candid discussions.
Okay, so I asked that, because I don't think I'm hearing anybody say that we need minutes. I
Right.
think what I'm hearing people say is, we just want to summarize takeaways and possibly
Right, and I
any
thought people
to-dos that we
would do
come from the meeting. And if staff, it's better that staff not do that. I was gonna say, as a part of your proposal, maybe we discuss if that would be something somebody would,
Have someone describe.
somebody sign up for that.
Okay. You just told me in a roundabout kind of way, sir, that you're not doing it. I'm just joking. So, okay, so yes, Mrs. Bryant just made, a motion. What was the motion, Mrs. Bryant?
I move that we, create a report similar to what we do when we do other community outreach, that just summarizes the meeting, who was there, what happened, just takeaway.
Okay. Motion made by Mrs. Bryant to do a meeting summary. Yes, ma'am.
Before we vote, I just wanna, my thought of this before I vote, and the reason why I'm gonna vote when we vote this way is that we have a lot of things that we need to do, and we're having a hard time getting those things done. We keep adding things, so if we're not going to, it doesn't come with somebody who's gonna do it, then I'm gonna lean towards not doing it,
I volunteer.
so,
Okay.
okay. I'm just saying, that's my thought process.
Okay. Motion made by Mrs. Bryant, seconded, was there a is there a
No,
second?
it wasn't.
Second.
No second here.
Seconded by Mr. Melton. All in favor to, have a prepared synopsis of the chief's meeting and community meetings, say aye or raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dr. Coleman, is blocked.
Raising our hand.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 5 yes. All those not in favor? 2. Motion passes. And Ms. Bryant, you,
I'm on it, I'm it.
okay, thank you, ma'am.
That means also that you have to be at every
Meeting
one.
Every meeting with the quarterly meeting.
with the chief.
With the
Yes.
chief.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
no,
you're saying, right?
I'm just making it clear that, that's all I'm saying, that.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me, point of clarification. The motion said chief meetings and community events,
Right.
Community
Right.
meeting.
Yeah.
community meetings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But who's going to write the report for the community meeting?
The person who attends.
See, that's the gray area, so I just wanted to make sure.
I thought it was the person that you were
Yeah,
volunteering.
everybody don't know,
To go to every community event?
so you don't know you're gonna be there. How you gonna do that with a staff, be there?
Okay, what I meant by that, when we do outreach, aren't we required to do some kind of back to the committee as to what happened at that outreach?
I don't think that's the question. The question is that a board member has to, attends that meeting has to write the notes. I mean, my thing is, if a staff person wanna be there, why can't the staff person do that? That's what I'm saying. I mean, because you might not be there, you might be out of town. We have to pick a person who happens to be at that meeting, the community meetings. You might not show up, he might not show up. It might be just one of us, you know what I mean?
So, yeah, we were already doing the synopsis for when we attend events or whatever. So that was kinda.
That's what I meant.
Okay.
But
That
I
was
thought your
already
original motion only talked about the 4 chiefs meeting.
That's what
Somehow
I was
the
thinking.
community
I was volunteering
got added,
for
right.
it.
Well, I think, so here's why I suggested that, and I believe, to be honest, we're talking about this way too long. I think it's a simple thing, but the reason I said it is because we represent the community. So we wanna make sure that we record the takeaways from the community meetings as well. We don't want any person to feel like that we're weighing more from the police chief's meeting than we are those community meetings or community outreach at all. So I think that to make it fair and balanced, we should do it for both.
I think there is a form, right?
Yes.
Already have
Yes.
a community.
That's what I said, but what I'm saying is, I didn't volunteer to do every community event. I'm volunteering for the 4 chiefs meetings. If somebody else would like to volunteer to do, or whomever is there, I think can take the baton on that.
Yeah, I think I just got a little confused because it sounded like this proposal was for something a little different than what we normally did in the community. So since you clarified that, I think the focus is really just the chiefs. We already were doing the community. But if you saying we need to do, I don't know, I feel like in the times that I've done community events, and even when Tangi did the most recent synopsis was basically the takeaways and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're doing it, but for the police, I was addressing the question about the police, the chief meeting, really. But I still, like you said, and like you said, we're talking too long about this, but, that of course, we're already doing the community event. I wanna add to that, the chief's meeting. Maybe I'll clarify my motion.
So you wanna add to the chief's meetings to the format in which we're doing the community meetings?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Okay. So then do we need to
Yeah, the
motion was
she needs to
completely
be able to
different?
take the minutes
Yeah.
correctly. So you need to make the motion, withdraw it or that.
Well, we already voted,
That's what I'm saying, voted, you have another one, it's just
Okay.
got more complicated.
okay.
She needs to put
To
something in the
clarify,
minutes.
okay, to clarify,
Yeah.
I make a motion, I move that in addition to, that we take, make a report, that I volunteer to make a report of the chief's meetings to include a synopsis similar to what we do with the community event.
Okay.
Seconded by Melton.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and, motion made by Mrs. Bryant, seconded by Mr. Melton, all in favor to, in the motion that Mrs. Bryant just said, I'm gonna get confused, I'm not gonna repeat it. Hopefully everyone heard it.
Crystal, did you get that?
Just vote by saying yes, or raising your hand if you're virtual. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I missed somebody the last time, I must have. Oh, 7, my apologies, can't count. All in favor, not? 2. Motion carries. Okay. The noes were Tamika, Mrs. Springs, and Mr. Law. Thank you. All right. Ms. Rose, did you have anything else on that you wanted to add? Thank you. All right. Next up, under reports and updates, the MML conference. Did receive a report from Mrs. Ridley and Council Camp, so thank you for that. Did anybody else provide a report?
Yes, I did, and I gave them to Crystal, she had.
Oh, you gave us, okay.
Actually, everybody submitted a report for the.
Okay, perfect. So what I'd like to do, for the sake of time, maybe at another meeting, we can, kinda talk about those things, or we can talk about it now if everybody who went wanted something to say, we can give maybe 2 minutes to talk.
I'll just briefly say that one of the most inspirational things for me was the, guest speaker, the featured speaker, who was Brandon Fleming, and he talked about his life. But essentially what he was saying is that for leadership and for you to grow, you need to be empathetic, be proximate, to listen, and, to be willing to help someone who you know needs the help, and all they really need is just for you to be there. I was very inspired by his presentation. And also, we got a chance to meet with many of the police chiefs who were there, Morningside and some other places, and took a couple photos with them.
Okay.
And they did bring up the letter again. And, but they did say something very complimentary, that they thought that Prince George's County was doing a great job in terms of the Police Accountability Board and the ACC. So we got positive.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I think, it was a good conference. The one thing that since we're a member, I think we should get with the other police accountability boards to have a session on it. Not just Prince George's County, just say one of the workshops should be that, because, it was workshops, but some of them was, building, county, little towns up and things like that. Yeah. The one thing that I went to was the police, recruitment and retention of officers. And it was by the police chief of Frederick, Maryland. Frederick, along with 4 other municipalities, don't have a shortage of officers. And he went over how you keep officers, and, I mean, they have a wait list, and so many, you have to go into the officers' personal, helping with financial stuff and things like that to keep the officers training, personalize a lot of steps that you go on to be officers and things like that, which I thought was a good session. The one thing that they were talking about is, which related to us, complaint mediation. And what they were talking about before it gets to the steps in the department that actually sent it to the PAB, call is made to the complainant and see if they are willing to meet with the officer to mediate it. And this before they get to us, you know what I mean? Before it gets to that person in the department. And they said it works pretty good. Sometimes the complainant say, no, I want it to go all the way, and it has to go through. But it was just interesting they had that kind of program. And they had a couple of other things. Most of the workshops, and the other thing that I met with some of the council people of the municipality in Prince George County, and they said, oh, yeah, we have to do more outreach, because they weren't aware of us. Mm-hmm. The one thing, the ethics ones, it was interesting, because they were telling them what you can do as far as ethics. And the funny part is that they was talking about the Supreme Court ruling changed a lot what they were saying there, because what they were saying, you can't take a bribe. But the Supreme Court had ruled that basically, you can give her the contract for $10 million for trash. You just can't get your money up front, but you can get it on the back end. That's what the Supreme Court ruled, which is against what they were teaching at the conference and things, you know what I mean? And I think the governor gave a good speech. The lieutenant governor afterwards at the end gave a good speech. The way the whole election of officers, I mean, it was interesting. That was my first time there, so I didn't know about that. It was just a one-year term and things. But I think we should, and also, if we can't get a workshop, I mean, not us, I'm talking about PAB statewide, to have a couple of people have a workshop on it. We also should have a table, even if it's Prince George's County, and giveaway stuff. I mean, to T-shirts or hats or whatever, little magnets or whatever, just so people know about that.
No problem.
Can I piggyback on that? I'm sorry, just a minute. I think that's a great idea that we have a PAB presentation, but I think it's more valuable doing it, at the county one, the Mako. I've been to Mako on my own before, and to me, I got a lot more out of it. I'm not sure that the MML is the best place for us, and maybe we could use those funds to send more people to Mako instead of that, and to have a presentation with multiple counties.
Well, see, I'm talking about doing it like they did it. It's not necessarily at the one we just left. It could be you and one of the, PAB members from, Montgomery County.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying, it's not just us, I'm saying.
Collaborative.
Yeah, collaborative, because I think Montgomery County, now, I didn't meet nobody from the PAB, from other PABs. I think maybe one person, I don't know.
Right.
But I'm saying, in that case, it's just like they did here. They had somebody in some of the workshops, they might be from, Hagerstown and another city doing the workshop together.
Okay,
You know.
so my question is, thanks for that. My question is, hopefully, those recommendations you got provided with your report. Not if you can amend that, that would be great. So, thank you for that. Marva, Marcia, would you like to go?
Did want to say, you go first.
No, I was just gonna say, I didn't find the training that beneficial for me. I went to one workshop that was there, and they had these instruments, that they have developed for the police officers for deaf and blind people when they arrest them. So that was kind of interesting, and I actually bought the brochure of that, so you guys can just look at it. There was a lot of technology, how to deal with these folks when they're arrested. And then I went to the same one that you went to, where the gentleman, Fleming, he was really good. Yeah, and I just decided, let me just go there. But once I got there, I stayed.
He's basically his assistant, a debate coach at Harvard University.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's super. And the whole thing
What was his name again?
Fleming.
Brandon Fleming.
And his whole thing is like, you don't go into a room and try to convince people by giving them statistics. You go in with a story. You tell them why and make them feel your passion, make them understand you. And then they can grow from that. It was very inspiring.
I'll look him up. Okay, thank you, Mr. Swindle.
I did want to say, I thought this one had less this year than last year. Not quite sure why, in terms of the workshop. Marcia and I did a joint recommendations, and we had 8 that I'll ask Mr. Chair if they can be shared, but I did want to highlight a couple. I think if you go to MML, at the very least, everybody should be at the police executive's breakfast, because at least there you meet all of the municipal police, and the governor always seems to like to attend that. I think that can be beneficial. The other one that I think is a must-do is the Prince George's Municipal Association Legislative and Policy breakfast, in which they go through legislation and policy. And this year they had Chair Ivy as the keynote speaker, so you get to get some sense of what's going on in the county. To the point about the municipalities, I agree Mako is probably more robust, but what could be helpful if there's some way to interface with these municipal chiefs so that they get to know PAB, because they're the ones that don't have as much experience. And you get them all there at the same time so that, it might be helpful. Marcia and I attended one on budgeting, and I mentioned that because I thought it was good. But 2 things happened. One, they were surprised that this board gets paid. Because they said most don't get paid. So they were very, they're going to go back and tell their people that, for the time that they put in, they should get paid. And the other one is one of the police chiefs, who's also a training commissioner up in Pikesville. was very complimentary of the boards in Prince George's, of the PAB in Prince George's County, which was nice to hear, and other people around the table were able, to hear. And then the last thing I just would highlight is that we have a tremendous opportunity when we're at these conferences to meet with council members. Marcia and I had a chance to meet with at least, 4 or 5 of them to have some conversations. And so I think it would be helpful, as we've done in the past, to have a meetup at the beginning. I think last time we kind of picked who was going to go to what workshops, just to make sure all of them were covered. And then if we could have meetings with council members while we're there, when we have a captive audience. And that seems to be helpful, and they seem to appreciate having those meetings, so having those discussions.
You talking about council members of the towns or
County.
council members of the county council?
County.
See, when I got there, it was, I think, the Tuesday, the only one that I saw was Sydney and Ivy. That's the only two I saw.
We had Sydney, we had Harrison, we
I
had
didn't see her.
Ivy.
We had the fourth there,
What's the name from Bowie, they're married now, get ready to call, Ingrid.
Oh, yeah, Ingrid,
Watson
yeah.
was there, Calvin was there, so there were
Calvin
several,
Hawkins, yeah.
there were several there, and we had an opportunity to speak to
All of them.
yeah, and.
It was like those, the only thing I wasn't aware, I thought you had to have a ticket.
That, for that breakfast,
That breakfast, that's
the
why I
ticket
didn't
was
go
required, and
try
we
to go.
didn't have a ticket, 'cause I asked them.
But see, that's what Marva Joe was saying. If we had some kind of meeting group,
Before,
we could've got y'all tickets.
so, let me ask
You
you,
know.
did anybody have the price of the tickets by chance? Well, you know what, we're going into depth,
Yeah.
this is really just to find out.
Yeah,
Okay,
my only
and
point
so-
is, I think coordinating on the front end would
Okay.
help on some of those issues.
So, and these are some of the things that we learned, some takeaways to move forward, try to, so thank you for that, and thank you for the report, thank you for that, suggestion about the swag. Okay, thank you. So, moving on to the next agenda item, old business, this will probably take up the most time, there is none. Moving up, the next agenda item is, new business, PAB rules and procedures. So, what I've asked, the staff to do is to send everyone the rules of procedures. We're gonna take a look at those, not today, but let's be ready to vote on them when we have our next meeting with the chief. So if we can vote on them for the following meeting, to discuss that, I have a feeling that it's gonna take up the majority of the meeting. So if we can just review them, whatever suggestions that you have and edit to whatever you want, let's just put it in there before we get there. Staff can provide those edits and suggestions, we'll come ready to vote on them, and if we can just move through them. And I'm sure we're gonna have some discussion, so let's go ahead and take a look at those. We can move forward on the rules of, and procedure. Yes, sir, Mr. Knowles. Oh.
I was just gonna say we should probably set a deadline for those recommendations.
So our next meeting after our meeting coming is gonna be with the chief. Does anyone have that date by chance?
It's the 24th.
It's August
In August.
Oh, the second.
7th.
August,
Seven.
right, no,
No,
14th,
yeah.
right, August 14th.
Okay.
Oh,
Right,
well,
right,
yeah.
the second.
That won't be good.
Isn't it the second
The
and fourteenth?
14th, yes.
The 14th.
Hold on, so,
Yes.
ho, we have people wanting, so let's keep one conversation. So you said, Ms. Rose, is what again?
It's the 14th, but
14th.
that's, the conference.
Oh, that's right.
So it's.
The next one will be the 28th.
Could you do this one?
Or we could meet on the
You're saying
27th.
August 28th?
Do the first
Is
Wait
that
a
what you're saying?
So the next one is August the 14th, but that's Mako, so
Right.
it's probably gonna be people, you know.
Not
who are
here.
Not here, yeah.
Right. What were you gonna say, Ms. Spring?
No,
Oh,
it's
it's
yeah.
been said.
No need to repeat it, yes.
What about
what
the
day?
7th, the first, the second?
First of August?
No, first,
7th of August.
first Wednesday.
7th.
Okay.
Then that means the next weekend. I don't know if I'll be available that day.
What about Thursday, the 15th? Is Mako still going on that day?
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, 'cause it's 3 days.
Yeah, I would say I still have it, yeah.
What about the 22nd? Thursday.
I won't be here, but y'all let it.
So just to revisit, so the first thing is just us getting our recommendations in the staff, and then, I guess this meeting we will be scheduling will come at some point later.
Oh, I got you.
So, is there a certain, this is a pretty lengthy document, if I recall.
But we had it before, there were, suggestions and additions made to it, so I don't think that's why I'm thinking, it shouldn't take that long. So we're having all this, is it possible to do it on the meeting, the 28th?
Like, have the recommendations we bring to the meeting and discuss it?
Yes. So what I'm saying is that when we receive them, like we've done before, there is a set of, rules and procedures that have already been sent out that had some suggestions and some, comments made to it.
Right.
So if there's nothing more than that, or if you have something, just add it to that document, and then we'll be ready to discuss it when we get there to move forward and vote on those things.
Yeah, I just was imagining that staff would wanna add it to a sort of more formal draft, so everybody can see.
The same thing,
Once
right?
we meet with it, people can see what people recommended.
So, we were
Can I
thinking
make
the
a
same. So I was thinking on the 28th, that's why I was thinking that it would give us enough time, yeah.
Can we agree that the staff will get it out to us by Monday? And that we'll have comments no later than August 9th?
We ain't gonna need to see it till the 28th, shit.
Just so they can compile everything and, I mean, that's just a suggestion, we can talk about it.
I'm getting a little confused with the timeline, so what, in its current form, is to be sent out this week, right?
Yeah, by Monday.
By Monday, okay. And then you will have 2 weeks,
A month,
give
basically 3
a
weeks.
month, basically, to give your feedback,
Yes,
and then getting together to then vote on that, is that
yes.
what I'm hearing? Okay, just want to make sure.
I did have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So, just clarification, I know you said something about putting it all together. What do you mean when you say sending it in an email for everybody to make suggestions
So in the
together,
past,
or?
yeah, so in the past, we've had discussions about edits, and people are telling us in the meeting what they want it to be, but they haven't really written it out. People can't see what it would look like. So it's been kind of better or beneficial if we've been able to have those edits incorporated, even red lines,
Into one document.
right?
Or track changes.
Or a list of what recommendations are there where people can read it. I don't really have a preference, but just a way of compiling what the changes would be so that people can kind of review them in that discussion meeting.
Okay, so in the same document, each person can put in their remarks, is that what you're saying?
That would be good too. If we turn on
Have your name
track
there.
changes,
Mhm.
people can do that. That way staff don't have to do it.
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
Just be careful with that.
Right.
That's the only thing about that. We allow people to do changes in a working document, that's the only issue that you may move or take something out, so that's why we've done it as staff, but I'm good with it.
Yeah,
Just
we
make
usually
sure
do
we
two
need-
different. We keep the
Yeah.
original
The
separate
original,
and
yeah.
then put a
Yeah.
working document.
Got you.
Okay, so,
Okay.
all right.
Okay, and then I just have one.
Yes, ma'am.
So this meeting that, gonna take place, is it okay to just put that on the agenda?
Absolutely.
And not anything
Correct.
else?
Yes, ma'am.
So that we-
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So the dates are, they'll have it to us Monday the 15th, changes by the 9th, and then the meeting the 28th, will be
Yes,
discussed.
ma'am.
Okay. All right.
Wait, it's spring.
Tamika, you said the ninth is the change?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
August 9th.
August 9th.
Michelle, you said the 15th, right?
The 9th is fine, that's the Friday.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you said the 9th, I'm sorry. I was thinking,
I did say the 9th, and then she said it was a month, but it's almost.
Okay, yeah, the 15th is the actual, for when they're gonna have it emailed to us. So the 15th is Monday,
Okay.
so they're gonna have the documents emailed to us by Monday, July 15th.
July 15th.
Yes, and then by August 9th, unless you wanna do, I have no preference.
The 9th.
August 9th would be when we need changes, and then when we meet on August 28th is when we discuss it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Next up on our agenda is the action plan dashboard discussion. Mr. Melton, isn't that your baby?
Yeah.
Sir, you have the floor.
All right, so, thank you to those who did submit, voluntary action line items. We have, unfortunately, only 4 members volunteered for different parts of the strategic action plan. So quite frankly, that's probably not gonna get it. It's a far majority of items that do not have leads identified, and some of these items aren't necessarily, gonna come away with a tangible output, but we want someone to at least ensure that we are tracking throughout our milestones and benchmarks, to make sure that we're complete with our annual plan and the things that we're looking for. Ebony did send this out, so the more recent version, it should be in your email, for you to look at. What I had hoped is that we would be able to kind of discuss today and flesh out what other items people are going to be able to do if they didn't get a chance to thoroughly decide, so that I can go back in and update that and people can take ownership over these items for the rest of the year. So I wanted to go line by line to make sure that we just have people that stepped up for some of these, but we are missing quite a few members today. And I want it to be something that's relatively equitable in terms of the workload. I don't want it to be 4 people doing everything. I don't think that's fair. So, we have, I don't know if you all can bring up your email on your phone, but, Mrs. Springs, Dr. Coleman, Mr. James, myself, and then some of these items are actually, the entire PAB is responsible for them. But again, there are far too many that are where no one has been assigned, and we won't have sort of that leadership guiding us and making sure that we're tracking properly throughout the year. I don't know where this discussion should go. I don't know if people are reserved to the fact they just don't have time to do it. But if that's part of the case, I think we should just have that discussion to see where people can contribute.
So we have,
What's the open ones? That's open.
oh, here you go.
Was that wasn't printed? Okay.
I know
Yeah.
last time you discussed people keeping theirs,
Yeah.
so I did email them.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, so it's better if you can't open your email on your phone, and look at that one is more current.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
and when was that sent, you know? Can you tell us, Ebony?
Yes, I'll just.
When it was sent on Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Sent it yesterday. Or, sorry.
Today was?
Yeah,
Yesterday.
yeah.
Okay.
Was it with the agenda?
Yeah.
Okay, I see it, okay.
Oh, with the agenda.
Okay.
I know that when I looked at it, there were some things that, it was like inviting the chief. I mean, what does that mean? I mean, just dropping a letter? What?
So like, there are certain tasks that staff has always done for us.
Exactly, but that's not.
The person on the membership board would oversee that got done and coordinate to make sure that we get that task done by our benchmarks, establishing sort of like an idea that, okay, we need to do this quarter. I need to think about what's a good date for that to be done and coordinate with staff to make sure that it gets executed. By doing that, I think we'll be more productive. We're doing more community outreach. We're talking about meeting with officers and chiefs. I think it's important that we have things that we can have conversations about that are actually related to the work that we're doing. And I think the only way we're gonna get there is when we start tracking properly and getting some of our goals done.
No, where, I can't.
You can't. Go ahead.
What's going on?
Oh.
Where is
Can we move her, move that,
Hit okay, I said hit okay. Hit okay up top.
yeah, to the right? Yep. Yes, ma'am, Dr. Cole.
I just wanted to know, like, for the tasks, that are assigned to you, if you've already started some of those, can we change, and change the column to in progress, or do we need to, come back and talk about that, in a regular board meeting, or should I reach out to Mr. Melton? How's that work if have started some of the things the tasks that have been designated to us?
Yeah, definitely. I think depending on how the board feels, I think this is something we probably could revisit every meeting, or I don't mind people emailing me directly and saying, hey, Mr. Melton, this is where we are with that. Feel free to change the status. I can add notes, whatever is gonna be helpful to make this document, useful for us to keep us on task.
Okay.
I can email. I haven't had a conversation with Mrs. Springs, and I apologize for that, but I've just started for developing the survey. I've just started to gather some information and look at some tools. So I can just write something up and email you, Mr. Melton, and CC you, Mrs. Springs, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Where is the, I got my glasses on.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Where's the community outreach? You got all the police, I don't see nothing for community. I can't see too good on this. Is it on there?
I thought it was.
I can't.
Yeah, they're at goal 4.
Go for.
Yeah. So Dr. Coleman volunteered to help oversee us hosting at least 3 in-person community sessions.
I would like to work with that, but,
Okay, yeah, I see it now.
There was some talk about us doing an external comms, so whenever we do communications, there'd be a template.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that we had talked about having an online feedback form of some sort on our webpage, so that's something someone could volunteer to take over.
Would you say that again, Mr. Melton? I'm sorry, I was looking at it.
There was, I think at some point, there was discussion in our action plan about us developing an online feedback form.
Oh, right, okay, okay.
Where community members or whoever
Would
could
be able to,
provide feedback.
okay. And what,
And we said it could be even positive feedback, like, I think you all are doing a great job, or something like just feedback that people want to offer.
what was that under, which one?
Goal 4.
All right, so,
Yeah, goal 3 is in decent shape. There's only 2 task items that don't have someone overseeing. Goal 5, goal 2, goal 1, quite a few.
and so the one that we received, that's the one I'm looking at now, which is the most updated one. So can we do this? Can we, I'm gonna sign up for 2. So, like Dr. Coleman said, whichever ones I do, I can email you, and then you can, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So is that okay for everybody to look at it, and, what's today, Wednesday, Thursday, by Monday?
Can we have it so that at least, unless, I know everybody's schedule is busy, but at least 2, if everybody can sign up for 2, and they will take care of everything,
Okay.
if possible. So, but, if your schedule is busy, you can't do 2, commit to 2, cool, at least 1. But if you can commit to at least 2, I think that would take care of everything.
Great idea. I'll sign up for 2. Yes, ma'am. That's right.
And also, can you CC me on this, I can help you with making sure that everything is up to date, if you all are busy or something like that, I can.
Wait a minute, now, that was a no-brainer, you know we're gonna do that.
You know what I'm saying, for the record.
Okay, yes, ma'am,
CC on it.
yeah. So I will send everyone, we will send it to Mr. Melton. Mr. Melton then will coordinate with Mrs. Rose and get the document. All right, so,
For clarity, can we have a date, like, I think.
that's what I was getting ready to say.
Okay.
So, I said Monday, is that enough time?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this Monday coming up, but I'll have mine email tomorrow.
We'll just need to, communicate that to the members not here, so that they can also
Okay,
do that, so.
okay, yeah.
Are we saying COB?
Yes. Thank you. Oh, you good?
And just as a note, for the sake of the spreadsheet, some of these goals are abbreviated. So go back to the action plan to actually read
Oh,
and ensure you see the full sentence or language about the task,
Go back where?
to the action plan.
Oh, okay, okay. I see.
thank you, Mr. Melton. You get that, Ms. Ogani? You good?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, next up under new business is the annual report. And for our annual report this year, I think that it would be, good to have subcommittees. So we can take a look at, the annual report and figure out what subcommittee we wanted to work on. And then that subcommittee could take that piece of the annual report and be responsible for it, and then compile it. So I just wanted to put that out there so we can think about doing that, looking at the different, what we'd have to come up with the categories for that. But I was just putting that out there so we can all start working on that, and thinking about which part of the annual report you passionate about or wanted to responsible for. So we can have that, discussion at the next meeting too. I'll work with Mrs. Rhodes to see if we can, put out the categories and send it out, just like something similar to what Mr. Melton has done, and we can just kind of do that. All right, and next up is community and external outreach. I think, oh, yes, ma'am.
For the annual report, the categories and everything, is that time bound, or you're just putting it out there?
Just putting it out there.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So can we also get that in the email maybe for the team? Just what the categories are. I mean, I'm sure we have the annual report online. I guess we can go by and look at it.
Yep, that's what.
So what's the action plan is, for staff to send out the categories from the last one, and then have that be a working copy?
You can go with that.
Okay. And you wanted to get by this Monday?
Is that feasible? Is that doable?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Thank you. And if we would have input to add to or delete from, maybe.
All right. Next up on the agenda is community and external outreach. Mrs. Rhodes, you want to take that, man?
You already went over
I
it,
did.
so yeah, that was just the chief's meeting.
You owe me.
So that's the 24th?
The upcoming Chiefs meeting.
Yes, the next meeting.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
July 24th.
Got it?
And it'll be back in that same room when you come, in 2 weeks, the room that you all used before.
Oh, okay,
Whatever
okay.
it is.
And I will be there to take.
Training and education. Would that be you, Mrs. Rhodes?
Well, we don't have anything.
Oh, it says none.
No.
See what Walmart glasses do? Okay, thank you. Any announcements from anyone? So I do have one. Vice Chair Sanchez and I did meet with the county executive's office, about a couple of concerns and issues that we had when it comes to, the Police Accountability Board for Prince George's County. So we were just kind of, some areas were kind of vague, about certain things, and so I requested a meeting with the county executive's office to get some clarity on some issues. So we had a really good discussion, and as a result, Director Bennett / IG Bennett and I will be meeting twice a month, to go over some things, because this board is independent of anything. And the county executive board, the county council. So we are an independent board that makes up what we decide what we're going to do and when we're going to do it, outside of the legislative mandate. Anything else It doesn't come from the county, and it doesn't come from the county council or any elected official. It comes from us. I wanted to be clear on some of those things. So that's why I requested a meeting with the county executive's office. And they were clear on a lot of things. And so I will be sending out an email, some of the things that were discussed. I was hoping that Vice Chair Sanchez would be here, but he had another family emergency. And so we'll be talking about that. We will be discussing it at the next meeting, after the chief's
Who did
meeting.
you meet?
DCAO Stanton.
Oh, not with the county executive.
No. Okay. He works in the county executive's office.
What was the issues?
There was some concerns about, delegating authority. My authority is always being challenged, about the things that I can't do. There were some concerns about emails that being sent to the county council, the county executive's office, the administrative charging committee. There's so many things that are working behind the scenes that for me, it was an issue. And I just wanted to get some clarity to find out what the protocol was moving forward, right? Because we have a great group of people, and everybody is passionate, but we get in our own way. I've been saying it for a long time. We can't get through simple things, and sometimes, and I'll be transparent. I don't respond to everyone because I don't know who's being blind copied on some email. I don't respond. That's why I don't respond sometimes. And for me, I want to make sure, because I always say this, that leaders should respond differently, right? I don't try to respond emotional, I try to think through my thoughts. This has never been about me. You know, there have been people that have said that it's about me and what I want. And I've talked to a lot of the members, and they've conveyed that they didn't think that was my leadership style. So just the style that's being questioned, I really don't understand it. But again, it's cool. One thing, and I've had this conversation with the staff, we can always disagree. People can be even disgruntled, but disrespect, just can't happen. Just can't happen. So there are times when, you know, I receive an email, I got an email from this person, Chair, this is what's going on. It's getting to the point where it's starting to break up the monotony, I think. And a lot of people, when I've had conversations with board members, are feeling stressed even coming to me because we just get stuck on something. We can't move forward. And I think that the group of people that we've had, now I've gotten great feedback from different people, in Prince George's County and outside of Prince George's County. To date, I think that the Administrative Charging Committee, we've completed and reviewed over 300 cases, things like 328 cases. So at any time, I think that we can pull some data from that, and I'm going to have that discussion tomorrow. And again, like for an example, any letters or any correspondence to go out from any board, I think that it should be, I should know that it's going out before it goes to any police chief. I never want to taint the process. I remember somebody had asked me a question from the media, and I told them that I don't watch videos when I hear that there's been an issue with a police officer and a citizen of an involved incident. So I try to not watch that so it won't taint the process moving forward. So I never watch those videos. If I hear that it's coming up on the news, I turn it off, simply because I do sit on the ACC, and I probably will hear that case. So I don't want to take that process. But that was what the meeting was about. It was about those types of things, what to do when the emails are going to outside entities that have something to do with the business of the Police Accountability Board, those types of things. So those are some of the things that were addressed. And it was, did hear from other county officials that they've received correspondence from county council. The emails are coming from board members to them, and we're asking what's going on. So it's becoming a problem. It's becoming a problem. We're the largest, and we should do the best. We have the talent, we have it. Everybody can be passionate, and I think that everyone is passionate. But if we can focus that passion on getting things done rather than to worry about what my authority is, I think that we'll move forward.
That's it, may I?
So give me a second. I think that we'll move forward. And so again, I hear a lot of things, but I don't share with everyone simply because I don't think it's just it will just weigh us down even more. Mrs. Rose and I, we've talked, and Vice Chair Sanchez and I, we've talked, so we're trying to make sure that everything is on the same page, moving forward, that emails that will be sent out, we want to make sure that everything, that goes to Mrs. Rose, she sends to the chair and the vice chair, so that we're aware of what's going on. Everything that I send out, Mrs. Rose and the staff, they always ask, do you want me to send this out to the board? Absolutely. So those are the things that we're trying to do. The rules and procedures, something that we're working on. I did also, we met with a follow-up meeting, Vice Chair of the ACC and Vice Chair Sanchez. We met with CCAO Stanton and Director Bennett at the same, for that meeting. And we had a really good discussion, understanding expectations and things like that. But the expectation is that we are independent. Nobody outside of the legislative mandate can mandate anything that we do except us. Full stop, period. That's all I have to say. There'll be more, but I want to make sure that, if Vice Chair Sanchez is respected, when he comes, he can speak about it as well.
Okay, the only thing I want to say is that when you talk about respect, it should be mutual, and that we are equally board members. Yes, you're the chair, but we each have a voice, and we each have an individual personality. And so I don't think it's appropriate for you to do things unilaterally. I think we've discussed that before.
Right.
And so that is, you didn't talk about that, but that's something that's an issue that I think we need to address, whether you want to do it at a meeting or privately.
So, no, so for the record,
Uh-huh.
I've done nothing unilaterally other than select and slide, right? There have been things that have been done by several board members that they've done unilaterally. It's not a big deal. I've talked to the majority of the board. They didn't have a problem with anything that I've done. So if I've done anything unilaterally that people don't agree with, I'm always available for a phone call. Always available for it. That to me, that's part of the issue. Title, I don't respect title, I respect character with leadership. And I think that what some people get confused with is that the title is something that they want. I don't care anything about the title. I just want to do the work and get the work done and make the citizens of Prince George's County proud. There's always a point where I'm being challenged on what I can't do. And for the record, I've done nothing unilaterally. I don't think that I have. But people are entitled to their opinion, and that's that. So that's the only announcement that I have. Staff, did you have anything? Oh, yes, ma'am.
We can't hear you.
Let me lower my hand here. So thank you, Mr. Chair, for providing that information for us. And I just sort of want to underscore that, you know, it's counterproductive, for board members, to send emails or correspondence to the IG, county council. We're all adults, we're all professionals, and if there is an issue, I think that we should be able to discuss it internally within the board. And if there is an issue, then we should be able to bring it with the chair. I feel like, you know, that I could, if I had an issue, you know, that I would bring it to you all first. I would never go send an email or correspondence or any to county council, because we are an independent body and we talk about that and we talk about how we represent the community. But when that happens, it undermines that. We say one thing, but then in turn do another. So I just wanted to say that for the record, and that I appreciate, you know, Mr. Chair, your steadfastness in having to sort of navigate these prickly waters. But I just would implore board members that if there is an issue, that we discuss this internally as a board. We've been together, I think, long enough now where we can do that. And so I just would implore board members not to, you know, speak with IG Bennett or the council members prior to speaking with us, because we don't want to keep getting in these situations where people come up and say, well, I've heard this X, Y, and Z, it's happened to me. And, you know, and then I'm sort of like, you know, I don't know, I'm blindsided. So we don't want that to happen. In order for us to remain legitimate and to carry out the state statute and what we're supposed to do, I think it's imperative that we talk these things out internally, and everyone has an opinion, and we can respect that. And but you know, I just think at this point it's getting a bit repetitive and frankly frustrating to keep hearing that this keeps happening, and not only frustrating, but that board members who do it won't bring it here, that they have the gumption to go to the IG and county council members, but won't admit that that's what they're doing. So I just wanted to say that for the record, and that, I support the chair and his work and the vice chair. So just wanted to put that on the record.
Thanks, Dr. Coleman.
Could I say something?
Yes, sir.
Well, I want to know, if we have differences, we need to talk it out. Man, we had the meeting with the IG. The reason I went to the meeting because I thought everybody else was going to the meeting. That's what I thought. I didn't meet with him or nothing like that. I ain't calling no council people like that. I'm saying, so what I see happening, if it's an issue, we should bring it up. I hear you talking, but you keep on talking around. I don't know what y'all talking about. Calling council member, calling IGB. I ain't called nobody. But what I'm saying is, let me give you an example. I'm talking about back in November. I emailed you about an issue. I said, call me, I had an issue with you. I never got a call back. You know what I mean? Never. And I hear you say this all the time about what you're saying now, but you never come out and say what the deal is. If we have to go in closed session and go with what the deal is, let's go out and work it out. You don't do that. You go around. You don't say what it is. You met with the IG. Was that because, you met with Stanton, but you didn't come to the meeting with the IG. Why would you have a meeting with that? A meeting with Stanton, and you didn't come to that meeting? Because I didn't know what the meeting was about. He told us things that I didn't know nothing about what's happening. You know what I mean? I'm saying is that you say stuff, but let's bring it out. If we just gotta go, like I say, closed session, and just say who's doing stuff to the council members or whatever, so we can bring it out. Why are you doing that? Just
Okay.
bring it out.
So thank you for that. Now, if you emailed me and I didn't get it back in November, I apologize, but but it's easy to say, hey, Kelvin, I emailed you, and you never responded.
You still
Let me finish. I was quiet while you spoke, sir. This is part of the problem, so,
No, it ain't no problem. We are bored.
I'm speaking, can I have the floor?
Go ahead.
That is part of the problem, is that we can't, you just said that we need to learn how to communicate. Communication is, and one of the things that I thought that I did not want to throw in the Robert's Rules of Order. I think we get more done when we have a discussion, right? There are times that we are going to have to use Robert's Rules of Order. And so, I had the meeting with DCAO Stanton because I said I had some issues with the concerns of being, mandated things to do that this board is not mandated to do other than what the legislation. So, hold on, those are some of the things that I had concerns with. I will address them at the next meeting when Vice Chair Sanchez is here. But again, if you have it, like Mr. O'Neill said, if you have a problem, I would think, like you said, we're all adults, you can just pick up the phone, call someone. Personalities don't always mix. I'm cool with that. I really don't care if the personalities don't mix, but we should still respect one another. There should be some type of protocol, so moving forward. So again, I will address it at the next meeting, when Vice Chair Sanchez is here. But I just wanted to make that announcement because I wanted to be transparent that I did have a meeting. And I didn't want it to go until the next Chiefs meeting where you guys find out, from other people.
Mr. Chair, I have to say that, first of all, you didn't tell us what it is that you've been mandated to do that we aren't aware of. Secondly, I have to tell you that I tried to communicate with you on many times, and you do not respond.
So, and I've reached out to you several times, and you haven't responded.
I'm so sorry, because I do not, I disagree that way.
That's fine,
I have never received an email from you.
So, I'm not gonna get into you did this or did that, but it's happened. But it's not a big deal.
It is a big
It's not a
deal.
big deal. It's a big deal to you, but it's not to me.
It's a big deal because you're saying here that all we need to do is reach out to you. And I'm saying that I've tried to reach out to you and you don't respond.
So, show me them emails, print those emails out and send it to me.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Print those emails out and show them to me. And I'll do the same. And I'll show them to you. All right? Anyone else?
Yeah, so I guess I'll just add 2 cents. I was at the meeting with I.G. Bennett, and a number of things and issues that he raised about the performance and the functioning of our board were a lot of things that can be resolved, I think, but there have to be some significant changes, and I think we all need to really find a way to walk together in agreement about what that looks like. We don't need to agree on the issues. That's the point of a board, is to have varied opinions and diverse perspectives, leaning into different people's talents, that we can be the best board as possible. I think the way our communication has been is very broken and dysfunctional, and I think that's why we can't optimize our performance. So I just want a lot of the changes that need to be done. I think people need to be open-minded about what that looks like and be willing to have an openness to a board that functions and communicates very differently than we have. What we have been doing has not worked, and I'll just give you an example. Chair, your recommendation is that we bring it to the board and we have a talk about it. But we've also got a conflict where we're trying to get through meetings in a timely manner. So if those two things are conflicting, they're not gonna feel good. People aren't gonna feel like bringing it, and people also aren't gonna feel like we're being very productive, because we're running out of time. So that's why this stuff has to be something we all agree on. If we need to vote more, we need to stop a lot of the insignificant, kind of like lingering conversations, so that we can all meet these goals. I mean, that's what I'm here for, is to do the work, right? I don't know if everybody likes me, I don't know, but I think what I want to do is create an environment where we're productive and we do what we can for the county and for the citizens to be effective. And I think we're less effective when we can't talk or get any work done. I don't know that it's always about everybody being right or doing things a certain way. I think we just got to come into alignment and agreement about how we get there. Sometimes that's going to take people to concede. Sometimes that's going to just take us to vote about it. And we got to be okay with that. This is my first board that I've served on, and it's been a learning experience. But I would just say that I think we need to have more open-mindedness about what this looks like going forward. And I think there are some recommendations that are out there about how we do things differently. And I hope people take full advantage of doing things that way. So again, if you recommend that people talk it out, we got to be all right with that. And if it takes more time, we got to know that comes with that.
Right.
If we don't want it to take more time, we can't make that recommendation. So like what we recommend and how we feel like we want to operate and do business, we got to do it. And I.G. Bennett's not here to tell us and hold our hand. We're not looking for that. So if we are a team and this is how we got to get it done, we got to get it done.
Right, and one of the things that, and I've always said, is that sometimes we can't, it's hard to get things done because we get stuck talking about certain things sometimes, and we can't move forward. But we've gotten a lot done, but we can get a lot more done, right? That's my thought on that, and I agree with you 100%. So moving forward, we're going to take advantage, like you said, Mr. Melton, of those recommendations and changes. But we have to be aware. And another thing that I say, everybody, the majority of us, are coming from other, our other employment, right? So it becomes a struggle. Nobody wants to come here and be stressed out and sit in a meeting that's gonna be 2 hours, 3 hours, going back and forth over the same thing. So, I think that we can, like you said, I know we can make it work, and it will work. We're not gonna always be here, but we're setting the path moving forward for future people to come in. It's gonna work, all right? So, with that being said,
Move to
second
adjourn.
time.
I second.
So, with that being said, I was gonna say that because of the weather, and I hope it's not raining. It's gonna be a storm coming, so I want everybody to get home safe. Yeah, it's already dark this time, so motion made to adjourn by Mrs. Bryant, seconded by Mrs. Ridley. All in favor to adjourn, say aye. 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 Any opposed? I can read lips with that, I can read the ayes, yes. All right, meeting adjourned at 7:57. Thank you. Ms. Rose?